All right.
Hey, hey, Donnita,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm great. Yeah, well, thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, yeah. But they reached out to us and told us about, first of all, about this being the 50th anniversary for your father's song this Christmas, Christmas classic.
Can you believe it? 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, time just goes by so quickly.
It
I
does.
remember,
It
yeah, I
does.
remember, being just listening to it on the radio and seeing it on Soul Train and all that.
Oh,
So it just seems like it was just 10 weeks ago.
it does not seem like it's been 50 years. Maybe 20, 25,
Yeah,
25. Yeah, it's the 25th
definitely.
anniversary of this Christmas.
Right.
Um, but I mean, when you think about it, I know for me, is that song has been in my life all of my life.
Definitely.
So here we are at 50.
Right. Yeah. So basically, you're doing an initiative with the Legacy Project,
Yes.
reaching out this holiday season regarding mental health and is it called the Friends Christmas?
Friends Christmas. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I want to give a couple of I guess I want to put this in context so people can understand as best as possible. So the Donny Hathaway Legacy Project was formed to honor my father, and like I wanted him to get his musical accolades. Like there's a lot of things that I think is due to him, just because of his rich contributions to music. Like being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys last year.
Wow.
Which all of those things are wonderful, and that was part of the inspiration of creating the organization. But the other was my frustration with where we are in terms of mental health. And so I wanted to, and this was really inspired by my journey and of various members of my family, like our collective journey. And, I asked myself, why 40 years after my father's passing, are we kind of stuck in the same place when it comes to the stigma surrounding mental health, right?
Right.
And so what I really came away with is when you talk about like the darker side of mental health, like my father was a paranoid schizophrenic, um, being bipolar. Um, I think people can relate to anxiety and depression, but those terms are, I think, a trigger for folks that, you can't even really have the conversation because it's like either that's not me or I just don't want to talk about it because why would I? I'm not crazy or those people are crazy, whatever the terms are. And so I wanted to approach mental health in a relatable way that your average person can get, right? And so the motto of the organization is getting to the heart of mental health. And so dealing with heartbreak and trauma, which I think we all can relate to, how, we have to heal those things because if you don't, it can cause a mental breakdown. Like
Right.
just in those simple terms. Like we've all had a broken heart. 2020 is a prime example of, all of the multitude of things that can go wrong and losing your loved ones and having, your health be compromised and your job, be compromised and, our kids can't go to school, like all of that, right? And
Right.
so beyond, even before 2020, this is something that I was very passionate about. And so this is my official launch. I thought, what better time than the 50th anniversary? But saying all of that to say, Friends Christmas is a way for us to be accountable. And like once the thoughts and prayers are kind of long forgotten, that we go follow back with not only our friends, but family members, like whoever you hold dear, to check in on them, with them, and make sure that they're okay. Because the holidays, you're assuming that, this Christmas, you're singing the songs, you're supposed to be with your family, and you're making snowmen and woo, all of that is great. But it's not when you feel alone. It's not when you're ostracized. It's not when you've lost like a parent or a significant other who's usually always there for the holidays, like, grandparents. Like when you lose them, a lot of times, a lot of us lose the Christmas spirit. And more importantly, because after the holidays are done and the lights are put away and the tree's gone and all of that, and it's cold out, it's bitterly cold outside, some people lose the will to live, and so you want to be mindful of that and like just raising that awareness, like, hey, the holidays is usually a trigger for folks. Not everyone has that joyous occasion. I wish it was. And, let this initiative be that. How can everyone have a very special Christmas, like the lyrics say in the song, right?
Right.
So call. Social media is great. You can have posts on social media saying, hey, how you doing? Checking in. All of that is fantastic. Yes. But nothing moves me more than hearing the inflections in someone's voice. If you can safely drive by, a friend's house or a family member's house and, honk the horn, do your caravans. Like, hey, I want to make sure, that everything's okay. If you ever need anything, I got your back. I know that you've lost so-and-so or someone this year. Just want to make sure that you're okay. If there's anything that I can do, if I can be a lending ear, help provide tips for if you've had that happen to you. Like for me, Christmas hasn't been the same without my mom. So there's rituals and, things that I can do to kind of include her so that it doesn't feel so, lonely. And like that void is there, like, there's creative ways that we can remember and honor those that we've lost. So there's a multitude of ways and reasons to be able to make sure that at the end of the day, that our loved ones are good. So all of that very long-winded answer is what the Legacy Project is about and what Friends Christmas is about. Yeah.
So when did you said you started it this year in honor of the 50th anniversary?
Yes, but actually I wanted to do it last year, but when the light bulb popped off, it was between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I just didn't think that there was enough time to do what I wanted to do. Like I really wanted to make it a massive, and still wanted to make it a massive, social media campaign to do events in person. And then COVID hit, and I'll do it this year, but then COVID hits. Like well, there goes this Christmas house that I have dreams about. I'm still trying to find a creative way to do it. Maybe 12 days before Christmas, but it's been a feeling and thought that I've had for some time, and all of the pieces just kind of came together last year. So now that it is the 50th anniversary of this Christmas, like what better time,
Right. Right. And I saw, like, I was looking at some YouTube videos, like going down memory lane, and I saw that Rhino Records had issued an animated version video. And I just thought it was so cute, when they put that Harold's Chicken Shack up in there. I was like, oh, I was like, okay, you're here. They're talking about it.
Give me about 4 wings with some mild sauce. I'll take my mild sauce on the side, fries, some coleslaw. I'll take some white bread just 'cause might as well.
Right, you got to pay that quarter for that piece of bread.
Yeah, like, come on here. But we love you.
Right.
We love you, Harold.
Okay.
What's funny is I live in Atlanta now. Even though I always come home for the holidays, I live in Atlanta. And they opened a Harold's here a few years ago. And I was excited, like, oh my God, yes, Harold's. And I went,
Not the same.
like not even remotely. Like, no, leave that. Now there was a Harold's in Nashville that I went to. I actually think they closed right due to COVID. Theirs was actually good. But going back to the video, I don't think a lot of people realize that secret sauce to that song everything top down to where it was recorded, the
Hmm.
person who wrote it, and those musicians, that's Chicago.
Yeah.
Donny Hathaway was born in Chicago. He, after college, came back to
Yep.
Chicago to live. Like that song was recorded in Chicago. Nadine McKenna, who is, really the writer of the song, is still alive and well. She's in Chicago on the South Side.
Oh, well,
On
I'm
the
over. She's over here with me then. I'm on the south side.
Yeah. Please
Hmm.
believe that, um,
Right.
this right here, I am a product of the South Side of Chicago.
Yeah.
Um, Absolutely. So, Rick Powell, also Chicago, like those musicians, that's Chicago. And
Definitely.
so I didn't know the direction that Rhino was going to go with this video,
Hmm.
but, just a huge shout out to Lonnie Millsap, who did the design.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is what I'm aware of, who did the design, but I think Fantunes was the animation behind the video. And so if you look at it, there's many more references to things like song titles and album
Right.
covers that they brought to life. Like you got to catch it because it goes by
Yeah,
really
it's
fast.
quick. Yeah, because I
Um,
did see like that
but
first album
yeah,
cover within
yeah, but
there.
there's a
Hmm.
couple album covers in there. But like I had to go back and look to see like what I missed because there were so many references. And I thought that was so cool. I think they did a wonderful job. 50 years for the first official video. Let me say that for the people in the back.
Okay.
It took
Say it again.
50 years to get the first official video.
That's something, and in reading the comments, even, people from all over the world. There was a guy in Saudi Arabia, and he was like, "Oh my
Yeah,
God, this is so wonderful!" And just going, even listening to the original recording,
yeah,
people were like, "I grew up with this. I got my grandkids listening to
yeah.
this, and people were like, okay, all these other versions, God bless Chris Brown, but they're like, no, Chris, this is,
They
you
cool.
know, good job, but this isn't it."
Those versions are cool. I have a
Mhm.
few of them that I like. Chris Brown's is one of them. Now I will say, because I'm not gonna put no slander on Chris Brown's version. What that version was able to do was to really give it a new life.
Mhm.
Like, to be honest, when you think of the song and the longevity of the song, This Christmas isn't what it was when it was first released. Not even in the 80s, This Christmas wasn't that, um, I want to say beloved. Like, it would get played, but it wasn't until I think the 90s.
Mhm.
And they put This Christmas on a Christmas compilation
Right.
that, it kind of started gaining and building steam. And then you started to see the covers. A
Right.
lot of these covers have been within the past 10, 15 years when you
Yeah.
think about it. And so what is amazing is, one, the slow burn. This has been a very slow burn. Like, it seems like it's been this way all the time, but honestly, it hasn't. Um, which is, I think, well deserved. I think it's the testament to the song,
Right.
how timeless it is, the original version, how timeless it is. And also, the message in the song. Like, I talked to Nadine McKenna, who wrote the song last night, and she said, um, I'm so glad I put the lyric, "This Christmas will be." Not that it could be, it should be, I wish it was, but like, this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me. Like, that's an affirmation, you
Mhm.
know? And so,
Definitely.
it's um, a testament to those wonderful musicians. And like, I think it was just a magical combination that, lives on. And so, I know I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like I said, just growing up, like you said, your father's music was just up there. I know he did work with Curtis Mayfield from here in
Yeah,
Chicago and everything.
Chicago.
And those two were just like, two them, yeah, the Shy Lights, all those groups that came from Chicago, and singers and songwriters. It was just
Bobby
like,
Rush.
Right.
who I met earlier this year. Bobby Rush said that my dad used to come in
Oh,
and sit in with him all the time. Like, how Chicago? You can't get no Chicago than Bobby Rush.
that's true. That's
Come
true.
on,
Okay, he is something. He is
Bobby.
something.
I love him.
Yeah, but we're going forth. What will that the legacy project? What other? I saw that you did a panel around your dad's birthday, I believe, with
Yes,
some very Angie Stone and Frank McComb and Eric Roberson. I
my
remember when he
people.
first came out. Here he
Oh,
was here at the Shrine for a long time in Chicago. When he
yeah,
first came out, and his career has really taken off too. So,
yeah.
it just seems like you just had a stellar lineup of people for your dad's 75th anniversary celebrate, 75th birthday
Yeah.
celebration.
Yes, and actually, that video is still up. I'm gonna repurpose it on my website, but it's on Twitch,
Okay.
twitch.tv/behind the rhyme. You have to search Donny Hathaway, but that video is still there. 287,000 views.
Oh wow, that's great.
We had 20,000 people live. Like it was like 19,900 something. So we're
Mhm.
gonna round that up to
You're
20.
right, rounded up.
We had
That's right.
20,000 people watching live, and that was actually a repeat because on the initial air, um, there was a technical glitch with not only the actual live, but with the promotion. And so the
Mhm.
lovely folks at Twitch said, you know what, let's do this again. We're going to put, all behind the promotion of it. And 287,000 people.
Wow. Yeah. Well,
Like,
I didn't know about it to begin with, but I'm definitely going to go and watch it because, yeah, I
please
definitely,
do watch it. In fact,
yep.
what I'll do is I'll make sure that after this live, that I have the link in my link tree. So if
Okay.
you click on my bio, I'll have it there. But earlier this year was the 50th anniversary of my dad's first album, Everything Is Everything. So like the
Right.
song "The Ghetto" is on there.
Right. Right.
That lineup. Okay, so I call Frank McComb for everything. First of all, he's my favorite. I love Frank. Okay, and
Mhm.
he knows it. So Frank McComb, Chas Shepard, Geno Young, Eric Roberson, and Gregory Porter.
Oh wow.
And then we also had A. Scott Galloway
Mhm.
and Rick Powell, who's behind that entire album.
Right.
So this conversation that was supposed to be about an hour, hour and a half, like that's what I planned. Like I just threw together at the last minute. Ended up being 4 hours and 38 minutes. So if
Yeah.
you are looking for like more information, like there's a longing of information about my father and his journey in his life and his career. Find that video, Donny Hathaway LP on Facebook. It's there. Like 3 minutes of it is there. It ended up cutting off, but there's there's so much there. And the gems that you got out of that, it was just I still this year this even now, like months later, I'm still in awe of the things that came out of that conversation.
Right. Well, like I said, I know they're, like I said, a lot of these people, they're legendary. And that's one of the things we're trying to do with C Style. We're trying to, give people a platform so they can come back and let people are always, like I said, covering songs and
Mm-hmm.
thinking, I've heard many people say, well, I heard this song on, what's that thing that you said they come from? A video game? Oh yeah, Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto or something
Oh,
like
wow.
that. And we're like, I'm like, what? And
Okay.
but it brings them to the original song, So even
However you get
wherever
there,
they
look,
come from,
wherever, just come as you are. You
right,
know, you might have to go in the back because you late. You are
right,
late, but there's room in
definitely,
the back. So grab a grab a snack. I don't know.
right,
So.
So so what
But
else
yeah,
would
I'm
you?
looking forward to doing more events like that. Not only to, again, honor my dad, but to have the conversation on mental health. Like, in
Right.
fact, within the next 2 weeks, I want to be able to do both, to gather some friends of my dad's and be able to talk about his life, because we're
Mhm.
still celebrating the 75th birthday. Like, that's a big one. So we're
Right.
going to be celebrating that for a while. But also, again, the mental health conversation, not only throughout the holidays, but in general, like we all deserve the best quality of life possible. And just like we wake up every day and deal with our physical health,
Right.
whether it's on autopilot or not, whether, the foods that you eat, the way that you move, like we need to have the habits of making sure that we also are taking care of this right here, because it can easily go left. It can
Oh, yeah.
easily go left. So,
Yeah.
and there's a way to have the conversation and have it not be so dark, but to be relatable. Let's heal the hurts that we have and the traumas that we've had, so that we don't pass this down to the next generation, so that while we're still here, we still are living the best quality of life that we can. So all of that gel together. It's I want to create a unique but fun and enlightening, even spiritual experience when it comes to both mental health and my dad.
Right. Yep.
And speaking
Well,
of which, let me do a quick little, if I can do this to the left, even though my plant is right there. That photo is
okay.
of
Photo.
my grandfather. That's Donnie's dad.
Oh, okay. I can see him. Hmm.
Yeah, even though I think the plant makes him look like he has a mustache, which he did not. Um, but even that to my left over there, it's my
Hmm.
grandfather and my great grandmother.
Oh, wow.
Um, so that's I'm saying that to say that's all Chicago right there,
Mm, definitely.
all outside of Chicago. So that's us.
Yeah. So I really, appreciate you, having this conversation because, like you said, we, especially this summer, have really been hit hard, on so
Chicago's been
many
hit
things,
hard. Yeah.
and,
Mhm.
just the whole Black Lives Matter, the protesting, the loot, even the looting, all this stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's taken an effect, on your mental health as well. So definitely, we definitely need to make sure that we're finding ways that we can, um,
Absolutely.
right, have those conversations.
Yeah, and Chicago has a special place in my heart. Like that's home for me. I'd lived the majority of my life in Chicago, and to see it minimized to being Chirac, um, to me is one, it's not valid. It's a part of Chicago, but it's
Right.
not all of what the city encompasses. Like there are beautiful, hardworking people there that are doing the best that they can with the resources that they have,
That's
right?
true.
And so, we have to ask ourselves, why is it that folks result to the actions that they have, whether it comes to the gang violence or when it came to the looting during the recent uprisings? There is a reason why our young Black men are killing each other like that,
That's
right?
true.
Let's get to the root cause and be able to talk about that. How many of these kids have adequate resources and like even like fathers in their lives? Why is there this brotherhood here? Like maybe because it's not, you know, here. So there's Chicago is the base of this. Even though I'm in Atlanta, Chicago is the base of this. And so everything that I do is really focused on that city that I love and adore. And I will still say that Chicago has the best skyline in the world. I've been able to travel around it. I come back home and it's like, yep, Chicago was home sweet home. All that water and architecture. And Chicago is a beautiful city, but it
It is.
is filled, like any city, filled with
Mhm.
folks who are hurt and in pain and confused and have these other things that we are unfortunately have not been taught to address. We're not taught to address that, I'm uncomfortable or I'm in pain or I'm suffering from this or that, you know, which is a shame because it's in one way, shape, or form, it's costing us our lives at the
That's
end of
true.
the day. So, as a community, I don't know a better city of folks that can come together and change the perspective and change their lives than the lovely folks in Chicago. And I want that to trickle down and be worldwide. So wherever you are, the same message applies.
Well, thank you, Donnita, for spending some time with us today. We definitely want you just to go ahead and give all of your social media website address here so people can know how to get in contact with you and to follow along about the Legacy Project.
Yes, first off, I want to say this Apple Cap, and I have like 6 of them. I got in Chicago. I got it was on the northwest side. There's a hat store. I think it's near Irving Park in Cicero. Like there's that diagonal intersection, and there's the L stop that's right there.
Oh yeah.
If you go like to near where the Steers is and go a couple blocks down, that's where I got these. So
oh wow.
That is the first address that I'm going to give. I want to figure out a way to brand this for the organization. Like, buy your Apple Cap from Donny Hathaway LP. Like, that just sounds right, right?
Yeah, when I was looking at it, I was thinking about that's what your dad wore. A lot of his different album covers and everything, and I was looking at it and admiring it.
Yep.
That's sharp.
Okay, let me focus. All right. So, I can be reached on my personal socials at Donnita Camille, but the organization is at Donny Hathaway LP. That's DONNY HATHAWAY, L as in legacy, P as in project. And the website is donnyhathaway.org.
Okay. Well, like I said, thank you so much for spending time with us today. Of course, this is gonna be repurposed on IGTV and on our Facebook page and all that, so people can still view it and get all the information. And I very much thank you so much for coming on today and sharing this information with us.
Oh, no problem. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
All right. Be safe out here, y'all.
Okay. Hey, well, thanks for joining us, everybody. And again, you can go to the Donny Hathaway, at Donny Hathaway LP on Instagram and DonnyHathaway.org website. And thank you so much, Donnita Hathaway, for sharing and with us today. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.